My girlfriend tagged me saying, "This is my starter boyfriend, ladies. Gotta start somewhere before the husband upgrade." I didn't argue, just gathered proof and laughed when the venue shut down her engagement party over a $5,000 unpaid bill. Hey, Reddit! My ex thought she could turn our whole relationship into TikTok content and make me the punchline. I wasn't having it. Things got messy, real fast. Before we get to the wild part, let me start from the top. I'm Roman, 29. Brielle's 26. We met 4 years ago through a mutual friend at some birthday dinner. She was funny back then, easy to talk to, into art and hiking. I liked that she wasn't glued to her phone all the time, or at least I thought she wasn't. Somewhere along the way, things changed. After 2 years of dating, she moved into my apartment. Technically, it was always my place. My name on the lease, my furniture, my rent payments. But last year, she asked to have her name added to the lease. Said it felt more official if we were both on it. I didn't think much of it at the time. I work as a drone mapping technician, not a wedding drone pilot or anything glamorous. I do land surveys for construction companies and developers. It's weirdly quiet work. I spend hours flying drones over empty lots or wooded areas, creating 3D maps for engineers. Brielle was trying to get a photography business going. At first, I supported it. She liked taking portraits, graduation photos, couple stuff, but paying clients were rare. Most of her work ended up being her posting aesthetic coffee photos and selfies with long captions like, "The grind never stops." I didn't really care until the last year when everything she did started feeling performative, like she was the main character and the rest of us were extras. Every breakfast, every dog she saw on the sidewalk, every minor inconvenience, it all went online. Sometimes I found out what mood she was in the same way strangers did, through her posts. Then came Tuesday. Lunch break at work. I'm sitting in my car eating cold leftover pizza, scrolling through my phone. I see a notification. Brielle tagged you in a post. I open it, expecting some artsy coffee photo or throwback vacation pic. Nope. It's a TikTok video of her standing outside a cafe, doing one of those trending voiceovers. "This is my starter boyfriend, ladies. Gotta start somewhere before the husband upgrade." Big smile. The caption, "Just jokes lol." And she tagged me. And 3 mutual friends. I just stared at it for a second. We'd been together 4 years. Lived together for 2. I paid most of the bills. And she's out here calling me the starter boyfriend like I'm some tutorial level before the real game begins? I didn't call her. Didn't text her paragraphs. Didn't drive home to start a fight. I just commented, "Good luck then." Then I went to Facebook. Yes, people still check it. Changed my relationship status to single and made sure to tag her dad, her mom, and her sister, so they'd all see it before she could spin the story. 2 minutes later, Brooks, my best friend since high school, texts me. "Bro, what did I just watch?" I send him a screenshot. "You starting World War III?" he asks. "She started it," I reply. Then Brielle's sister, Lila, DMs me. "Brielle is losing it right now. What happened?" I send her the same screenshot. No explanation. Just the picture. She replies a minute later, "Oh," like she finally understood something about her sister she didn't want to admit. Meanwhile, my phone lights up nonstop from Brielle. "What did you just do? Take it down right now?" Her mom calls twice, straight to voicemail. Her dad, Raymond, says nothing. He's an old school guy. Quiet, works long hours. I finish my pizza, mute my phone, head back inside. My coworker asks why I'm grinning. I tell him, free entertainment. When I get home, Brielle's waiting in the living room, arms crossed, face red like she's been crying on and off all afternoon. "You humiliated me," she says. "You did that yourself," I say, dropping my keys in the bowl by the door. "It was a joke," she snaps. "Tagging me as your starter boyfriend? After 4 years? That's your idea of funny?" I open the fridge, grab a bottle of water. "You're blowing this way out of proportion," she says, following me like a shadow. Everyone knew it was TikTok humor. "No," I say, twisting the cap. "They didn't. And even if they did, I'm not interested. You want to act single online? Be single." She freezes. "So, that's it? You're ending everything over one video? Over what it says about you?" "Yeah, I want you out by the end of the month." That's when she smirks. Actual smirk. "No," she says. I look at her. "What do you mean, no? I'm on the lease too, Roman. I live here. You can't just kick me out." I nod slowly. "Cool," I say. "Noted." I grab my laptop, open a new document, and type in big letters. Lease/noise. Date, time, details. If she wanted to play legal tenant games, we'd play by every rule in the book. The rest of the night stays silent. She goes to the bedroom. I stay in the living room making notes. Around 10, Brooks calls. She really tagged you like that? Yep. And she's still living there? Yep. He whistles. Man, this about to get good. Working on it, I tell him. She wanted chaos. I wanted receipts. The next morning, Brielle acted like nothing happened. She made coffee, scrolled on her phone, hummed along to some pop song. I didn't say a word. I opened my laptop and started going through our lease. Mr. Whitaker, our landlord, had sent me the PDF when she got added last year. The key parts stuck out right away. Quiet hours after 10 p.m. No overnight guests more than 3 consecutive nights in a month without permission. Tenants responsible for guest behavior. Perfect. Brielle loved chaos. I preferred rules. That same evening, the games began. I got home from work around 6:30. Brielle was in the kitchen with some guy I'd never seen before. Big dude in a sleeveless shirt, smelled like Axe body spray and energy drinks. This is Milo, she said casually. He's helping me carry some lighting equipment. Cool, I said, putting my stuff down. Nice to meet you. He gave me the chin nod guys do when they don't want to talk. An hour later, he was still there. They were sitting on the couch watching some reality dating show, laughing loud enough the neighbors could probably hear. I went into my room, opened the lease again, highlighted the guest rule, and exported it as a screenshot. Labeled it Clause 7C.png. At 10:15 p.m., the show was still blasting. I walked out, calm as could be. Hey, quick thing, I said. Quiet hours start at 10. Just letting you know. Milo shrugged. Brielle rolled her eyes. We're not even being that loud, she said. I didn't argue, just went back to my room, emailed Mr. Whitaker, and attached the noise clause screenshot with the subject line, clarification on quiet hours. His reply came in 20 minutes. Mr. Cole, tenants are entitled to quiet enjoyment of the property. Any disturbances after 10 p.m. violate the lease. Guests are the responsibility of all tenants. Document dates and times if issues continue. I saved the email as Whitaker warning 1.pdf. The next night, Milo was back. They were blasting music in the living room this time. I didn't say a word. Just added January 18th, 9:55 p.m. Music loud enough to hear in hallway to my notes file. On the third night, I waited until 10:05, then stepped out with my phone. Hey, I said to Brielle. 3 nights in a row counts as consecutive stays. Landlord says needs permission after that. It's not like that, she snapped. We're just hanging out. Doesn't matter, I said. Rules are rules. Milo stood up. I can leave, man. It's cool. Brielle glared at him like he'd just betrayed her. He grabbed his hoodie and left. She slammed the door behind him and yelled, You're being ridiculous. I didn't answer. I just forwarded Mr. Whitaker the updated log. 2 hours later, he sent another email. Any further disturbances will result in a formal notice to cure or quit for both leaseholders. 3 days to comply or vacate. Final warning. I read that twice. Both leaseholders meant me too. If she blew it again, we both had 3 days to fix it or lose the apartment. Saved that one too. Whitaker warning 2.pdf. After that, Milo didn't come back. Instead, Brielle started bringing groups over. 4, 5 people at a time. Loud, laughing, leaving empty cups on the counter. I responded by labeling all my food in the fridge. R on everything. Bought a mini fridge for my room and moved anything expensive into it. Put a password lock on my bedroom door. Brooks came by one afternoon and saw the labeled fridge. Man, you turned this place into a college dorm, he said. Got tired of my leftovers disappearing, I said, taping the landlord's second warning to the inside of a kitchen cabinet where Brielle couldn't miss it. The parties stopped after that, probably because Brielle finally read the email chain from Mr. Whitaker. He didn't sound like a guy who gave second chances, but she wasn't done. One night I came home and there was a new guy on the couch. Different from Milo. Skinny, wearing a beanie indoors, drinking one of my cold ones. Hey, I said, looking at Brielle. This is Troy, she said. He's in a band. I glanced at the couch. Troy had his feet up on my coffee table and was halfway through a bag of my chips. Cool, I said. Troy, you planning on staying the night? He looked at Brielle. No. Good call, I said, taking the chips from his hand and swapping his drink for a water bottle from the counter. House rule. Also, feet off the table. Brielle exploded after he left. Said I was embarrassing her in front of her friends. I pointed at the landlord's email taped inside the cabinet. Not my rule. Building's rule. She stomped off to the bedroom, slammed the door, blasted music on her phone. I wrote down, January 23rd, music at 11:15 p.m. Duration 40 minutes. Didn't even have to send it to Mr. Whitaker. The threat of that email chain existed like a storm cloud over her head now. 3 days later, Brooks texted me, "How's the Brielle situation?" "Quiet," I wrote back. Too quiet. Because I could tell she was planning something. Sure enough, the next night she left a stack of dishes in the sink, turned the thermostat to 78, and accidentally unplugged the router while I was in the middle of a work call. Little things. Petty stuff. I didn't react. Just wrote it all down. And on Thursday afternoon while I was at work, Brielle sent me a long text. At least 5 paragraphs. All one big run-on sentence, listing out everything in the apartment she claimed was hers. The 65-inch TV in the living room, my custom gaming PC with the dual monitors, the espresso machine I saved for 3 months to buy, the sound system, even the couch. She wrote, "These were things we bought together or gifts, so I'll be taking them when I move out." I didn't even answer, just stared at the message for a second and thought, there it is. None of that stuff was hers. Not one thing. I bought the TV with a work bonus 2 years ago, built the PC myself piece by piece. Espresso machine was a birthday present I gave myself because nobody else was going to. She hadn't spent a dime on any of it. So instead of arguing, I went to work on my own plan. First stop, email. I searched my inbox for every receipt tied to those items. Best Buy for the TV, Amazon and Newegg for the PC parts, Williams-Sonoma for the espresso machine, even the surround sound speakers order from 2 Christmases ago. Downloaded them all as PDFs. Second stop, text history. I scrolled back to the week I mounted the TV, found the message where Brielle sent me a selfie on the couch with the new TV in the background. She wrote, "Movie night is so much better on your insane new TV. Your, not ours." Took a screenshot. By the time I got home, I had a folder on my desktop with everything neatly organized by item. Brielle was sitting on the couch watching some Netflix show like nothing happened. I didn't bring up the text. Just said hello, grabbed a drink, went to my room, and called Brooks. "She's trying to claim half my stuff now," I told him. "All of it hers?" he asked. "None of it hers," I said. "But I'm not going to argue about it. I'm just going to make sure she can't touch any of it." "Want help?" he asked immediately. "Bring the truck," I said. Saturday afternoon, Brielle posted on her Instagram story that she was at brunch with friends. I texted Brooks. 30 minutes later, he pulled up with his pickup, and we got to work. First the TV, 2 blankets around it, strapped it carefully in the truck bed. Then the PC setup. Tower, monitors, keyboard, everything. All packed into boxes and loaded up. Surround sound system. Gone. Espresso machine. Packed carefully in the front seat. We didn't talk much while we worked. Took less than an hour. We left the couch. Moving it would have needed a dolly, a second pair of hands, and an audience in the hallway. Neutral furniture could sit there until she was gone. By the time we finished, the living room looked like someone had robbed the place. Just an empty TV mount on the wall, bare spots where speakers used to be, a lonely coffee table with nothing around it. I grabbed a sticky note from the kitchen drawer, stuck it to the empty TV mount, and wrote, "Check your email." I drafted a message. I told Brielle she was mistaken about ownership and attached receipts for everything on her list. The TV, PC parts, espresso machine, speakers, and even the couch, all bought by me with my money on the dates shown. To prevent any confusion during her move-out, I explained that the smaller items had been relocated to a secure spot, while the couch would stay in the apartment until she moved out and returned her key, after which it would remain mine. I attached every receipt plus the selfie screenshot with her "Your insane new TV" comment. Hit send. 15 minutes later, my phone started buzzing. First text, "Where is the TV?" Second text, "Are you kidding me right now?" Third text, "You can't do this. I'm calling the cops." I replied once, "Everything in the email shows I bought it. You're welcome to call them. I'll show them the receipts too." Silence after that. No reply. Brooks texted me a picture when he got home. All my stuff stacked safely in his garage. "Safe and sound, man," he wrote. That night, Brielle barely came out of the bedroom. I didn't see her face. The next morning, she finally spoke. "You're petty," she said over coffee. "No," I said. "I just like my stuff staying mine." She slammed a cabinet door and stormed out. I opened my laptop, added a new entry to the notes file. February 2nd, property removed with receipts documented, email sent, no police visit. Because at this point, the notes weren't just for the landlord anymore. They were for me. This wasn't chaos anymore. It was chess, and I just took half the pieces off the board. After I moved my stuff out, things got quiet for about 3 days. No arguments, no late-night music, no new random guys showing up. Brielle barely spoke to me except for basic stuff like, move your car, or we're out of paper towels. I knew it wasn't peace. It was prep time. The first sign came on a Thursday night. Brooks texted me, Yo, why is Brielle posting walls of text on Instagram about you? I opened the app. Sure enough, there it was. Long paragraph about how sometimes people aren't who you think they are, and leaving toxic relationships is self-care. No names, but half the photos were from our apartment. Then the screenshots started popping up. She cropped bits of old text conversations, posted just my replies, and wrote captions like, This is what emotional manipulation looks like. One screenshot was me saying, You can't just spend that much without talking to me. Looked bad by itself. Left out the part where she tried to put a $1,200 non-refundable vacation on my credit card. Another showed me texting, I'm done talking about this late at night. Made me look cold. Missing were the 3 hours of nonstop messages from her before that, while I was trying to finish a work project. Mutual friends started acting weird. No replies to texts. One guy canceled our usual Saturday basketball game. Said things were too awkward right now. I didn't post anything back. Didn't comment. Just started collecting. I went through our entire text history, pulled the full conversations for every screenshot she used, highlighted the parts she left out, all the apologies from her, the stuff where she admitted she overreacted, the times she admitted she spent money she didn't have. Then I remembered something. The audio recording. A week ago, during one of her late-night rants about the TV being gone, I had hit record on my phone and left it on the counter. 10 straight minutes of her yelling, calling me every name she could think of, threatening to ruin me online, all while I said maybe 4 words the whole time. One-party consent in my state, perfectly legal. I saved the file. Brooks came over Saturday morning. I showed him everything. The cropped screenshots she posted, my full versions with timestamps, the audio recording. Dude, he said, scrolling through the folder, she's gonna regret this. I'm not posting any of it, I said. Then what's the plan? I already knew. Raymond. Her dad was the only reasonable one in her family. Quiet guy, worked construction management, hated drama. He'd always been polite to me. Nothing like Brielle's mom who encouraged every bad idea she had. If anyone could shut this down, it was him. I spent the afternoon putting everything together in one PDF, each cropped screenshot side by side with the full conversation. Highlighted the missing context in yellow. Added a short note above each one explaining the situation. At the end, I linked the audio file. The email was short, direct, respectful. I told Raymond that Brielle was posting selective messages that could hurt my reputation, so I attached the full conversations and an audio clip to show the real context, asking him to talk to her before things went any further. I sent it Sunday night around 6 p.m. At 8:20, I got a text from an unknown number. This is Raymond. I've seen everything. I'll handle it. That was it. Monday morning, the group chat Brielle had with mutual friends blew up. Someone forwarded me the screenshots. Brielle was angry texting, Who sent my dad stuff? He's calling me nonstop. Lila, her sister, wrote back, Maybe stop lying about people then? By noon, Brielle had deleted every story, every cropped screenshot, even the dramatic, toxic relationship post. 2 friends who'd been ignoring me texted awkward apologies. Didn't know the full story, man. I just replied, It's fine. Because it was. Brielle stopped talking to me completely after that. No snide comments, no slamming cabinets, nothing. She walked past me like I was a stranger. Brooks came over midweek and looked around the quiet apartment. Feels like a truce, he said. Feels like the beginning of the end, I told him, because I knew something was coming. Saturday afternoon, I came home from running errands. Brielle's door was open. Half her stuff was gone. Clothes, makeup, the pile of random decor she kept on the dresser. I texted Brooks. She's mostly out. That night, for the first time in months, the apartment was completely silent. The first night alone, I set the TV back up, reconnected my PC, and finally made espresso in peace. Even the neighbors seemed happier. One guy across the hall nodded at me in the hallway and said, Things sure got quiet. Yeah, I told him. New management. Brooks came by the next day to help carry the sound system back in. We bolted the TV down properly this time, drilled straight into studs. Feels like victory, he said, handing me the power drill. Feels like the end of a bad lease, I said. By Sunday, I had everything back in place. Living room exactly how I wanted it. Bedroom clear of all her stuff. I even went through the whole apartment and fixed things I hadn't bothered with before. Squeaky cabinet hinge, loose shelf in the closet, missing light bulb in the hallway. For about 2 months, life was boring in the best way possible. Work, gym, occasional basketball on Saturdays, sometimes a beer with Brooks at his place. I dated a little, but nothing serious. Mostly just enjoyed not walking into my own home wondering what chaos was waiting for me. Then, early April, Brooks sent me a screenshot. Brielle on Instagram, big smile, holding up her hand with a ring on it the size of a small planet. Caption: he asked. I said yes. Sometimes you have to leave the boy behind to find your king. The guy next to her? Troy. I recognized him immediately. Same guy I'd kicked off my couch back in January for eating my chips and putting his feet on my coffee table. I stared at the picture for maybe 3 seconds, then put my phone down and went back to eating dinner. Brooks called 5 minutes later. You see this? Yeah, I said. She moved fast, he said. Not my problem, I said. And it wasn't. But it got louder. Within a week, Brielle started posting about their wedding plans nonstop. Venue tours, cake samples, dress fittings, the works. She tagged every vendor in every post like she was running a marketing campaign. One venue name kept popping up. The Grove. I knew the Grove. My company had hosted a corporate dinner there 2 years ago. Fancy place, tight policies. The event manager, Marisol Vega, had been professional to the point of scary. Payment deadlines, guest counts, catering changes, everything had to be confirmed weeks in advance, or she'd shut it down. Basically no exceptions. Once, the GM approved a provisional start while a cashier's check or wire was en route, with a hard cutoff. Miss the window, service stops. Out of curiosity, I checked the Grove's website. Their private events policy was right there in a PDF. 50% deposit to reserve the date, remaining balance due 14 business days before the event. Failure to pay equals event canceled. I remembered Marisol warning our HR manager 3 times about the deadline for our company dinner. She wasn't bluffing. Brielle posted the date for her engagement party, June 10th, 3 weeks away. Brooks texted me, bet they don't have the money for that place. Not betting, I wrote back, just watching. Because here's what I knew. Troy worked some sales job at a car dealership, lived with 2 roommates. Brielle's photography business never took off. She had credit card debt. I'd seen the bills myself back when we lived together. Twice I had to front past due utilities, electric in November and internet in January, to avoid shutoffs. The notices and my reimbursement texts were still on my phone. The Grove was not cheap. The more she posted, the clearer it got. This party was supposed to be her big I won the breakup moment. Professional photos, string lights, custom cocktails. She was trying to prove something to everybody. I wasn't planning on interfering, not yet. But I kept checking those posts like someone watching storm clouds roll in. 2 weeks before the party, she posted about cake tastings and table centerpieces. No mention of payments. A week before, she posted the seating chart with everyone's names in gold lettering. Brooks asked, "You think they even read the fine print?" I shrugged. Not my problem if they didn't. But I kept remembering Marisol's face at our company dinner when she told us, if final payment isn't here by the deadline, the event doesn't happen. Period. The deadline for Brielle's party had to be coming up. 3 days before the event, Brooks called. So what's the move? Nothing, I said. Not my party. But the idea was already forming in the back of my mind. Not revenge, not drama, just information sharing. I still had Marisol's email from 2 years ago, when we booked our company dinner. I still had Brielle's original starter boyfriend video saved on my phone. And if there's one thing Marisol cared about, it was avoiding last-minute disasters. The thought sat there for 2 days, while Brielle kept posting countdown timers and floral arrangement pictures. I didn't decide until the morning of the party. Brooks texted me, "Tonight's the big show." "Yeah," I wrote back. "Let's see if the lights stay on." June 10th, engagement party day. By noon, Brielle had already posted 8 Instagram stories. Hair appointment, nails done, white dress on a hanger. Venue pictures with heart emojis, countdown timer at the top. Tonight, I was sitting at my desk with the same email draft I'd typed up the night before. To Marisol Vega at the Grove. Hi Marisol, I remember how strictly you enforce payment timelines at the Grove. Quick heads up, the hosts for tonight's engagement party, Brielle Hart and Troy Maddox, have a history of leaving balances unpaid and assuming others will cover them. I'm not asking you to cancel anything. I'm asking that final payment be verified before alcohol and food service continue. For context, I've attached 2 redacted examples from my records, utility shutoff notices plus unreimbursed payments, and 1 screenshot identifying the party. Thanks for keeping things orderly, Roman. The screenshot was Brielle's original starter boyfriend video, with the caption about leaving the boyfriend behind to find her king. I read the email twice. Professional, boring, no insults, just facts. Sent it at 2:15 p.m. Then I waited. By 6:30, Brielle was posting group photos at the venue. Fancy place, string lights, floral arches, the works, guests in suits and dresses holding champagne glasses. Brooks texted me, "Dude, this thing looks expensive." "Sure does," I wrote back. 7:15 p.m., more posts. Brielle beaming with Troy in front of the big gold B&T Forever sign. People tagging the venue. At 7:40, Brooks called me, voice already laughing. "Okay," he said, barely able to talk. "My buddy's girlfriend is there. She's sending him updates. Marisol just pulled Troy aside mid-party." "No way," I said. "Oh yeah," Brooks said. "Asked him about the final payment." I leaned back in my chair, grinning. "And? He thought Brielle's dad paid it," Brooks said. "Marisol said no record of it." I could picture it perfectly. Troy in his rental suit, smiling 1 second, sweating the next while Marisol stood there with a clipboard and her no-nonsense tone. Brooks kept going, barely containing himself. So Marisol goes to find Brielle, whole party watching, asks her directly about the $5,000 balance. "Bet that went well," I said. "She says she thought Troy paid it," Brooks said. "Troy says he thought she paid it. Then someone asks her dad, and he says he gave them a check for $2,000 as a gift, but assumed they'd cover the rest." So there it was. Nobody paid. While they argued, Marisol apparently gave them a deadline. Pay now or the bar closes, kitchen shuts down, music stops. Brooks was laughing so hard I had to wait for him to breathe. "Dude, they don't have it. Not even close." 7:55 p.m., the live updates kept coming through Brooks. Bar closed. Caterers stopped serving. Guests whispering, checking their phones, standing around awkwardly. Turns out they'd paid the deposit, but not the balance. Marisol had granted a provisional green light on a same-day wire with an 8 p.m. cutoff. If funds didn't land, bar and kitchen would pause. At 8:10, things hit full disaster mode. Troy and Brielle were near the coat check, voices raised. People could hear every word. "You told me you had it," Troy yelled. "You said you were covering this part," Brielle shot back. Then her dad apparently stepped in, furious at both of them for assuming he was footing the entire bill. Marisol shut the music off at 8:20. Lights came up. Staff started clearing tables. Guests began leaving in clumps, muttering. Policy took over. At 8:35, the final blow landed. According to Brooks's source, Troy ripped off the little boutonniere on his jacket, pulled the ring box from his pocket, and threw it, not the ring, just the box, at Brielle's feet. Called her a lying, manipulative mess in front of everyone and walked straight out of the grove. Left her standing there in her white dress, makeup streaked, family watching, guests pretending not to stare. By 9 o'clock, the place was empty. Staff sweeping floors. Party dead. Brooks called me again, still laughing. "Whole thing collapsed like a bad tent," he said. "She's screaming at her mom, Troy's gone, guests left hungry." Marisol told them to never book an event there again. I sat back in my chair, listening. No celebrating. Just a sense of balance restored. Brooks said, "You planned this, didn't you?" "Nope," I said. "I just asked a question. Because technically, that's all I did. I didn't cancel anything. Didn't spread lies. I just made sure someone checked the bill before serving the drinks. The rest handled itself." At 9:30, Brooks sent one last text from his friend's girlfriend. "She's sitting outside crying in the parking lot. Half the guests left before dessert. Troy's gone. Whole thing over." I put my phone down, turned on my freshly remounted TV, and scrolled until I found a comedy special. The sound of the crowd laughing through the speakers filled the apartment while I leaned back on my couch, completely relaxed. Brielle had wanted a big public moment to prove she won. She got one, just not the kind she planned. By Monday afternoon, the Instagram purge started. First, the party photos disappeared. Then the engagement announcement post. Then all the wedding planning content. Cake tastings, dress fittings, floral arrangements. Vanished. Brooks texted me screenshots of her empty profile. She wiped everything. I didn't reply, because at that point, it was over. 3 days later, I got home from work and saw a manila envelope wedged in the doorframe. Inside was Brielle's apartment key and a short, handwritten note. "Roman, I'm moving the rest of my stuff out this weekend. Don't be here, but fine by me." Saturday morning, I went to the gym, grabbed groceries, and came back around 3. The place was empty. Her room cleared out. Dresser gone. Closet bare and a quiet apartment. She'd left one note on the counter with the key. "I hate you." I read it once, tossed it in the trash, and texted Brooks. "She's gone." He replied, "End of an era." But that night, I ordered takeout, set up my living room exactly how I wanted it, and started rebuilding the PC cables the way they should have been before she moved in. No more passive-aggressive thermostat changes. No more unplugged router during work calls. No more strangers eating my food. Just quiet. Over the next month, life went back to normal. Work during the day, gym after, basketball on Saturdays, sometimes a beer with Brooks while he retold the party story like it was a comedy routine. He loved the part where Troy threw the ring box and stormed out while Marisol shut off the music. "Whole place went dead silent," he said one night, still laughing. "Like someone unplugged the sun." I smiled, but honestly, I didn't think about Brielle much anymore. Until July. Brooks texted me a screenshot one morning, Brielle on Instagram again. Different tone this time. Long caption about taking time to heal and focusing on self-growth. No Troy in sight. No ring either. By fall, Brielle had completely disappeared from my life. No posts, no texts, no calls. Mutual friends stopped bringing her up. One night in October, Brooks sent me one final update. A picture someone posted from a local bar. Brielle with friends captioned, "Girls' night out." I typed back, "Hope she paid her tab." Brooks sent 10 laughing emojis. A month later, I renewed the lease under my name only. Mr. Whitaker didn't even ask questions. Probably just glad he wouldn't get midnight emails about noise complaints anymore. Brooks helped me move a new couch in. We set up the sound system properly, mounted the TV better this time, ran all the cables clean. That night, I sat on the couch, TV remote in one hand, everything finally quiet. Then I grabbed my phone, opened Brielle's contact, hit block, and deleted the thread. Because some things don't need a sequel. And that was it. No dramatic finale, no last-minute twists. Just a guy with his own place back, a working TV, and zero noise complaints. Sometimes that's all you need. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up, and it keeps even crazier stories coming your way.
Kind of get the clue,
yeah,
and stop talking to you. And if not, maybe they just need someone to talk to.
Yeah, definitely not encouraging anyone to get into a life story conversation. Just be human. I think you put it best. Right. Yeah, be human. We talk a lot about self-care, self-worth in our conversations. I see you post these amazing stories, and that's how I actually found out. I remember once you posted one of my videos, and I was just like, oh wow, like I just felt very humbled and touched. But you share so many other people's, and I think you do such a great job of encouraging creators like myself as well in sharing that.
Oh, thank you.
And not just me. And I know you share plenty of other creators as well, which is so beautiful.